no sibling rivalry without Dot. Here's Valorie Curry. He's not in costume today, and he's very, very happy about that. Please welcome the big blue man himself, Peter Serafinowicz. Nice guy on screen and ferocious on Twitter. Welcome to Tick's little buddy Arthur, played by Griffin Newman. One of the good guys on screen and off. Please welcome Scott Speiser. You might have heard of a certain person named Superion, Brendan Hines. Finally, a producer of the executive kind, Barry Josephson. Please welcome them all to WonderCon.
Take one, pass it down this way. No, take one and pass it down this way.
Let's start with, you guys are with Amazon.
They already have it.
Amazon show. Does that mean you get Amazon Prime for free?
No, pointedly not. I got an Alexa for my birthday, which just feels like them trying to keep stronger tabs on me.
So no one got it for free?
I didn't get an Alexa, so... Thanks.
Does your mic work?
This works?
Yeah, I don't have a mic.
Oh.
That's good.
For the actors, what can you tease about the second season and what happens to your characters?
It was cool watching it with everybody just now. We were sitting in the audience. It was great. Wasn't it?
More experiences like that are coming in the second season. Viewing pleasure.
Yeah, it's there are some really funny new characters. The guy, no, his name's Mark Kasich, is that right? Kudish, sorry. And he is just...
That's Tyrannosaurus Rathbone.
And that is such a funny joke name as well, Ben. Like Tyrannosaurus Rathbone.
But yeah, he's amazing.
He's so funny though, because like when I met him and he's playing that character, it's like that. Even though you're an actor, sometimes when people play a certain type of character, you expect the person to be like that in real life, and you forget that they're just pretending. That's their job. It's also your job. I'm pretending to be me, talking to myself. He was so silly, right? And he would also. Do you remember that day when like he kept cracking up?
Yeah. Well, the other thing with him, I remember when he, that first day that he was working, he put on the jumpsuit. He went, boy, am I gonna work up a sweat in this thing. And the thing I tried to warn him is that because Peter's suit is so thick, the sound stagers are constantly like 40 degrees. Yeah. So he was like, I'm just gonna be sweating buckets. And then if you see when he walks in the beginning of that scene, you can see his breath. It is so cold. And like 20 minutes in, he was shivering. He was like, you were right, kid.
For the rest of the cast, talk a little bit about what you can tease for the second season.
Oh, was that the question?
Oh yeah.
I think for the show in general, as you probably can tell from what you just saw, this I think of as Ben Edlund's imagination unleashed. You're gonna get more absurdity, more laughs. There's more action too. It's really fun. It's now that you're on the ride, it really gets to pick up the pace and really go full blast. And for me, playing Dot, it's really exciting because this is the season that she gets off the bench and she gets in the game. Yeah.
I feel like for Tick and Arthur, now that Aegis is starting up again and they're starting a new Flag 5, they've sort of had the benefit of being the defenders of the city by default, because no one else was stepping up to do the job. But now you have all these heroes that come out of the woodwork and new heroes arise, and we have to compare ourselves to people who are maybe a little more traditionally functional than we are. And so it's a journey of them trying to figure out what kind of heroes they want to be and how to do that within a system once bureaucracy gets involved. I know those are the key buzzwords you want to drop at comic. Bureaucracy and paperwork. Those are our big set pieces.
It's like the Senate in Star Wars.
Yes,
You know.
yeah. Well, we sort of find out there's always been this hanging thread throughout every version of the Tick that the Tick is nigh invulnerable.
Yeah.
And we never knew what the nigh was. What's his one weakness? And we find out it is, in fact, forms. It's paperwork.
Yeah.
He melts. He has like a kryptonite effect every time he has to fill out his info.
Which is true of Ben Edlund.
Yes.
And of Peter Serafinowicz.
We have shared our sense that forms equal death.
Yeah. They were quite easy scenes for me to do when we're waiting in line.
I found those scenes more traumatizing than the stunts. Like they took more out of me to just be like, I gotta write my name again.
But also with these new characters, there's also like it sort of opens up the Tick comic universe. You know, it's like so they've got like a central place where they hang out, and like then you see like these other heroes in the universe of Edlund's mind, and like there's
Aegis break room. Yeah.
There's the hero lounge, which everyone's coming to, but most people are coming there because they want the Wi-Fi and the croissants and the coffee. So like Tick and I are like there to like do action. Everyone else is like, what are you worried about? It's like, recharge your phone.
I mean, it's always eating croissants. And they were delicious.
Unbelievable. Those croissants are
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, I would just say that the absurdity, I think Valorie already mentioned it, but the absurdity of season 2. I mean, season 1, we'd read the scripts and go, that's crazy. I can't believe that's going to happen. Season 2 is that times a million. And, we'd get a lot of different versions of the script.
Yes, that's...
depending on what hour of the day it was.
Today.
And you'd read it and be like, I would laugh out loud. That is absurd. That is completely ridiculous. I can't believe that A, someone thought of it, B, that they wrote it down on a page, and then C, we're actually going to shoot it. And all of those things actually happened. And then D, they're going to edit it together and put it out there. And it's so fun to actually see what, one moment, how absurd it was on the page and then how it translates onto the screen. It's pretty cool.
Correct.
Thank you.
And
I was correct.
I was
correct.
It's funny what Griffin was saying about the Aegis superheroes are just there for the charging of their phones. Anyway, so Superior this season really has no interest whatsoever in doing any superhero work. He's still there, isn't he? Anyway, yes, Superior is not doing any saving of anybody. He's wrapped up in his own shit. 18, PG-13. You want to say anything? Good.
I don't want to get hurt. This next question is actually for Ben and Barry. There are a lot of new heroes this season. Talk a little bit about who you're introducing and maybe some of their powers, if you will.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Sure. Yes, this allows for, the way we sort of put it was the city is now safe enough to protect in the absence of the terror. So yeah, an influx of new heroes comes. We were talking about the break room and the croissants and the wireless and all of that. There's one character who's in town. He's been a hero and a defender of the city before, but basically he's now the equivalent of essentially a retirement home kind of guy who flex on. He's like rubber. You don't need to know much more than that.
He's a
rubber
stretchy
guy.
lawyer.
What's that?
He's a stretchy lawyer.
He's a stretchy lawyer. Yeah, and he's just there really for, like he would be at the McDonald's the local McDonald's if they hadn't opened up the break room again. So then he just goes there and gets the croissants. There's Sage, the supernumerary, who played by Clay Bennett. Flexon is Stephen Ogg. All of our characters, like we're so fortunate in the casting this season. People came in and added so much really great, amazing just work. But Sage the Supernumerary is a mystical sort of superhuman who derives all his powers from a supernumerary nipple that he calls the blind eye of Thurdara.
What does supernumerary mean?
It's such a great problem because it's a number system. Why? I guess it has to be, it's additional. It needs to be, I mean, I don't really know and I don't want to be like grilled right now. No,
That would have sufficed.
you know, those are two standouts that are really fun. I mean, like, we are also able to kind of, one of the other things that's really been exciting this season is to kind of bring Aegis up and running, and this, like, the world of that superhero governmental kind of agency is one of the big kind of tentpole, like, world-building expressions of the season, and it came out really beautifully.
We have John Hodgman.
And John Hodgman as Dr. Agent Hobbs.
Yeah, Dr. Agent Hobbs, which we joked on set that Agent was his first name.
Yes.
Because it sounds like he has two titles. We say, no, my name is Dr. Agent J. Hobbs. But he's sort of our face man that we're dealing with as we're going through the rungs of Aegis, trying to get through that system.
Kind of your handler and your cue in
Yeah.
James Bond sense.
And in Aegis 2, we get to see the resurrection of the Flag 5 and the puzzle pieces of like the characters that you're going to meet in season 2, who will be a part of the Flag 5.
So, yeah.
I'm a big fan of the banter between Arthur and Tick. Talk a little bit about like filming those scenes, and then talk a little bit about writing those scenes. Because I mean, you could hear it in the crowd even today, just everyone laughing and having fun with it.
I don't like the word banter.
The dialogue between the two.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm just it's an observation, not a criticism.
What about Bantha, like the Star Wars creature? You like that? It's
Yeah, but it's a different word.
Well, let's just pretend. Let's say, what do you think about the Bantha between the two of us?
That helps.
Make you happy. I feel that Peter and I both come from comedy backgrounds, so I think we come at it in a very collaborative way, because we know that so much of the show, succeeding or failing, is going to be based on the rhythm of those two characters together, and it's sounding like what fans have had in their heads for years based on the previous shows or reading the comics. There's like a certain energy you want to achieve, so we just work on it a lot, and really are collaborative in sort of trying to find a way that our performances can harmonize.
I disagree.
Try.
My favorite scenes are just scenes when, like, before the action starts, me and Griff just walking along, just talking to each other on the street. They're my favorite scenes. That sums up the show for me.
No, it's those little simple moments. Like, there were some really wonderful moments for you guys, I thought, in the kitchen in this episode of just really very little going on. Also, a moment between Dot and the Tick that was excruciatingly long, but beautiful, like, silence. Like, those are this is a show that allows for the dumbness of life to come through and just put the spotlight of lack of motion on everyone's endeavors. And it's
Just like Chekhov.
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 With an empty gun. Anyway, so in the writing of those things, that is something that, like, I wanted to make sure in this iteration of the Tick, it's a half hour long, but it needed to have something in its pace structure that allowed for it to kind of come to a grinding halt sometimes and just be, because when you're all dressed up in a show like this, if you have nowhere to go, it's doubly funny because what you're wearing is ridiculous, you know, like that.
Brendan, Superion is going through a little something this season. What can you tease about that?
He's not fighting any crime. Let's get that out of the way. That's a spoiler that I'm happy to share with you. But he's also experiencing, let's say, global critique for the first time in his life. The world is very angry with him and disillusioned with him for, I guess, being wrong on killing the terror all those years ago. So he's not taking criticism well.
It's like a PR crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, exactly.
Challenges.
And he is just completely confused about the fact that nobody seems to care as much as he does about it. So that's fun. In addition to that, I really enjoyed continuing the trend of not having any scenes with Scott Speiser this season.
That's another
spoiler.
But a good one.
But yeah.
A good one that's...
Ben, what are your thoughts on Superior's journey this year?
I thought it was nicely played.
I thought it was nicely written.
Who do you prefer?
Superior, yeah, has like the whole season actually, in some ways, if the first season was inward in some ways because it was about Arthur, it started with Arthur and he wasn't sure if his own reality was real. It started in the second season, all the characters have proven the reality and now they're kind of up and running, and now persona is a real thing. Everyone is worried about how they look, everybody's worried about how they're doing, everybody's worried about where they fit into a larger sort of awareness of other heroes, other villains. Superior is sort of the top end of that idea. He confronts social media really for the first time in his being.
And he does not like it.
Oh, that mirror is not for him.
But that is a mirror on Brendan Hines, though, that's for sure.
Well, see, and then it gets meta.
Superior also has never been criticized before, and when Arthur in the first season asked him why do you do this, it's the first time he's ever had to think about himself.
True.
So as everyone else starts criticizing him, he just assumes that Arthur is his therapist.
Yeah.
So throughout the season I'll come back to the apartment and he'll just be on the couch with a list of questions he can ask me, and I get stuck into this role of being Superior's life coach.
And a darn good one.
For Scott and Valorie, you guys have a lot of scenes together this season. What can you tease about what's going on with Overkill and Dot?
What are you suggesting?
I'm just saying, you guys, there's a lot of scenes together. It's also in the first episode.
Yeah.
It starts right there.
Well, I feel like Overkill, he's really coming into his own and finding his place as Dot's sidekick. Because he's been kind of purposeless up to now, as this lone wolf, and he needs somebody to direct him. He needs drive and meaning, and that's where he gets it, is from Dot. Yeah, right?
So that's all we need to hear.
Barry, you can take that one.
Next question. Overkill finds himself this season, there's a mission, and some things from his past come up, and basically he as he kind of learned in the first season, he can't do everything by himself. And in this situation, Dot provides some assistance.
She assisted you in season 1 too, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Saved your life that one time.
Yeah.
Also.
No, but it's I don't think we can really say much other than, these two people, these clearly opposing characters and forces in a way, as far as personalities, are kind of forced together, and it's fun and strangely satisfying to watch the two of them interact and develop whatever relationship they have.
In all seriousness, I think one of the interesting things about their relationship with Dot is, as she is getting into the game, this isn't something like Arthur. He had a sort of fantasy of this, so he knows what's right and what's wrong, and he wants to fulfill that and be this sort of aspirational vision of himself, and she didn't have that because she didn't have this expectation of getting involved in this way. So it's a little bit more flexible in terms of who she's going to be and like what her moral compass is or isn't, and having Overkill as her sort of point of contact, it provides a different reference point in terms of like morality, and also allowing for different kind of motivations. You know, there's a lot of anger that she has too that has been suppressed for a really long time. And he definitely gives free rein to that.
Yeah, Overkill certainly recognizes that anger and connects to that anger and brings it out, like allows it to happen in you in a way that Arthur never would, or your family never would have.
In some ways, I think he does. He takes her more seriously than I think she's.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Taking
yeah.
her.
He's also not like, you know, your family is worried about your safety. Whereas Overkill, you know, it's the mission.
Yeah.
So not that he's not worried about your safety, but there's not a fear factor in there for him, for you.
I believe we have some time for some audience questions, and the people that asked, I believe we're going to be giving out some Funko TV, some Funko Tick Pops. Did I say that right? Yes. We have the Funko Pops. Maybe? I'm looking over at, I'm going to say we might. Let's go with we might. First question.
Yeah, with all the new characters that you're bringing in, all the new superheroes, are we gonna maybe see any of the old favorites like Captain Liberty or Batman Well?
This time, this season round, we will not see a Captain Liberty or Batman Well. There is although those creatures could certainly return without a doubt. We talk about actually Batman Well because just Nestor Carbonell.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all wonderful, but Liz Vassy actually has a role that we won't get into this season, but she's got a surprise role. But ultimately, like the characters from the Tick's past, we've still we've cut a vein and are just like, it's this gorgeous blood of the present is pouring into this thing. But there is a sort of a, what is it? It's an Easter egg secret surprise in this season. One of the villains from the comic book actually begins to loom, and that's going to be something that's exciting to play with season 3.
Over an Easter egg. There's a commitment at the end of
Yes,
the
oh
season
yes, okay, yes.
to a classic villain from the cartoon, the comics.
Yeah, that's sort of like kind of, it's slinking around the edges of the story. So there are some
I don't know what you're
long
talking
time.
about.
Well, it's old story.
Yeah, no, it's just an Easter egg. It's well hidden.
Yeah.
But it's good.
No, it looks good.
Anyway, I'm excited to read it now.
It sets up really well some things that we have in mind for season 3, where there will be some.
Should we get season 3? But that is, we're ready if that should take place.
Yeah.
Ben has
Season 4 is confirmed, but not season 2.
The bridge to it is very confusing, but we'll get there. We're very excited.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi. Okay, so in the first season, Aegis was brought up as this bureaucratic nightmare. So I wanted to know if they're going to be this kind of almost a big opposing force as the season goes on.
I feel like a lot of what comes into play. Can I ask you have an excellent Tick costume on. What's the missing poster you're holding?
Oh, it's actually for you.
Oh, okay.
It says, "Missing Arthur Everest, also known as Arthur."
Leave at the author name and then the superhero name.
Excuse me, ma'am. What is your name?
Kaylee.
And who have you come dressed as?
Wow. I saw this really shining force show us this. He came from these comics, but he was big.
I've just been shown a
giant.
sign that says, please wrap up. I think that applies to the
Also, Aegis is, the thing that Aegis makes Tick and Arthur confront is the gray area for the first time.
Yeah.
Because Tick has always just been like, I'm a superhero, I'm good, and I fight evil.
Yeah.
And Arthur is someone who spends a lot of time researching who the enemies are. And with Aegis, there are a bunch of protocols that come into play that get in the way of how they want to act. So they're trying to figure out whether those things will ultimately help them more, whether it's worth the sort of ammunition they get from being part of a larger agency, or whether it's mucking them up.
And that agency is a sort of a giant, many-storied governmental agency that is not 100%, clear with Arthur and the take. So they're always, they're working to find their connection. Yes.
Thank you.
That is unfortunately all the time we have for today. All of our panelists will be signing posters from 5:45 to 6:45 at the WonderCon signing area, which is 1533, 1633. Thank you for everyone coming out today to celebrate.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It will be on Amazon Prime April 5th.
April 5th, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, please do not come up with that question. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.